Greetings, peace, and many, many blessings to you. It's your girl. It's Tanaya TP, or the Perspective Dealer. I am here today to talk about Jamaica and my love affair with Jamaica. I don't want to call it a love affair because affair makes it seem short when this is long lasting. This is home, and it has been home for the past 6 months. So I want to share a little bit about the things that I've learned so far. I have some notes in front of me. And yeah, welcome here for the journey. So before we get started, before we jump in, you should know that I am a traveler at heart. I am an explorer at heart. And back in 2022 or 2023 last year, I started to explore different islands because I felt a connection to the Caribbean and wanting to explore more about my ancestors and get to know some things that were in my heart, honestly. So I started out with spending 1 month in Curacao, and then doing 1 month in the Dominican Republic, and then now I've been in Jamaica for 6 months. But let me tell you that when I was in Curacao and when I was in the Dominican Republic, it was leading me here to Jamaica. It was leading me here to home. And as soon as I got off that flight, baby, when I landed at the Norman Manley Airport and I came outside, I was just like, oh, I'm home. Like, it didn't feel like I was in a new place, even though I've never been to Jamaica before. It just felt so normal. If you don't know, I'm from Philadelphia. It felt like landing at PHL and walking outside of there. Very much home, very much, they call it the land of wood and water, and I can really resonate with that, with loving the trees and loving the water and feeling so connected to rivers and waterfalls and oceans and lakes and streams and all of that. Whew. So yeah, here we go. Let's get started with the video. I'm going to talk about food, spirituality, places that I visited, and I'll even drop some things about my lover in there because that's what I'm staying with now. If you're looking for a video of like how to move to Jamaica, this is not the video for you. I came here and I just booked a few weeks in Portland. I don't live in Portland anymore. Or, I don't live in Portland. That's not where I wound up settling into because that's not where he lives. But still beautiful, still amazing, still nature filled, still rich, still... we got papaya trees, soursop trees, and pear trees, and coconut, and avocado, and breadfruit, and it's abundant. It's so abundant, and it's so beautiful, and I honestly love it so much. Sometimes my ego gets in the way because I miss Portland sometimes, but I'm really in this era of life where I'm focusing on all the things that I do have, and all the things that I do have are very rich, very amazing, very wonderful. Let's just go ahead and jump right into the video. I had mentioned food first. We have a lot of fruit trees on the property, but there are certain things that I've learned, even in Portland before I came and settled in here with him, that were completely new to me. Like, I learned how to peel ackee and prepare ackee. If you don't know what ackee, first of all, if you don't follow my Instagrams, you need to be doing that, because on the Perspective Dealer as well as on I'm Tanaya, the Perspective Dealer is more so for, honestly, it turned into me posting fruit. I don't really know what I'm posting on the Perspective Dealer, if I can be honest. It's kind of just turned into a diary where I post random stuff, but at a certain point it was focused on fruit and health benefits of certain things. I was posting a lot about the different fruit that I learned about here. So you'll see videos on breadfruit, ackee, even globe grape, sweet sop and sour sop, all the different mangoes that I've encountered, cracking a dry coconut. Like, there's a lot of content on there that is going to be representative of the things that I'm talking about here, even when it comes to peeling oranges and sugarcane. Learning how to make an ital sip is important to me. I had an elder that I connected with when I was in Portland, and we made a sip together. If you don't know what a sip is, it's just a soup, but it has a lot of different root vegetables in there, and just vegetables in general, because it's ital, which is vegan, from the earth, natural. So I had pumpkin in there, I had yam in there, some kidney beans, maybe some gungun. Gungun is pigeon peas. It was just full and delicious of healthy vegetables and greens. So I can't remember everything right now, but yeah, shout out to Sister Dawn for her help. And if you would like to support Sister Dawn in her healing, because she had recently had a stroke and it's been tough on the fam, I'm gonna post a GoFundMe link in there for Sister Dawn. We give thanks and praise for that elder and all the things that she's taught me, because honestly, whatever I learned in Portland was through her. Big ups to Sister Dawn, and just prayer for her health and healing. Whew. Cooking the ackee. She made fried breadfruit for me. My first time having breadfruit was in Portland with her. So delicious. I was like, yo, what the freak? So I'm not gonna go too deep into like the fruit thing. I'll encourage you to go look at the Instagram. Now, when I was in Portland, I was really into looking at the water and trying to tap into the waterfalls. So the waterfalls that I visited while in Portland were Reach Falls, Cornwall Barracks, and then when I came over to this side in Hanover, I went to Basin River Falls. Back in Portland, I went to Winifred Beach and Boston Beach. It feels like I did so much more because it was in like a 2-week span, but it was really a lot, and it was super fulfilling. And then I actually went back to Portland back in August. I was like at Winterford Beach every single day. So Winterford Beach is very beautiful. It's a free public beach, and then it has the ocean, of course, but then it has a river on the side for you to wash off and swim in and bathe in, and it's beautiful. It's amazing. I connected with a family there who was making me some delicious Ital food. I think, it wasn't even all Ital because, baby, I had some saltfish and aki too. I love aki. It is like, sometimes I wake up and I just say the word aki, praying that it will appear. Okay, so I don't know what I'm going to do without aki when I leave Jamaica. I'm going to just come back to Jamaica and have more aki. When I was at Boston Beach, I had this beautiful experience where it's like the water, you can go far out and you can still walk. You know what I'm saying? Like, usually when you think about the water and going far out, you think it's going to get deeper and deeper. And it does get deeper eventually, but you can walk so far out there without it getting so deep. So when I went far, I was by some rocks and some cliffs, and I wound up seeing a freaking pufferfish. That was so amazing to me. I never saw a pufferfish. It looked like the eyes were glow in the dark, super green, super beautiful. And I was stunned. I was so stunned. The last time I've been stunned like that by looking at something in the water was when I was at the river. I was at the springs back in Florida. So beautiful and amazing. What I really wanted to mention about the waterfalls in Jamaica is, baby, it's going to be a hike. It's going to be a hike down some steep slopes, and you might and you might fall, you might trip, you might whatever, but that hike down is going to be so worth it. And if you have a tour guide that is willing to hike you down to a space where it's not like you don't got to pay the entry, because it's natives who can show you how to get to the same spots that the tourists are going to, but you'll get around it. If you're cool enough, then you'll partner with people like that. I think I fell. Every single time I was at a waterfall, I fell. It's so worth it. It's so worth it. It's so worth it, especially Reach Falls. Reach Falls was so wonderful. When I first got there and I just took in the amazing views of all these different pools of water, just and the sound, like, if you ever want to just get a complete nervous system reset, baby, go to a waterfall. Even the sound, even if you don't dip your head in the water, just the sounds of all the different, I'm in a moment, I'm in a daze. It's so beautiful, so wonderful. So yeah, Reach Falls. And then I made a friend named Tasenia, and she wound up taking me to Cornwall Barracks, which is more of a private waterfall. Like, it's more like native. You don't see it too much if you look up waterfalls in Portland. You would find that if you know somebody who lives there and can take you to it. But like I said, it's called Cornwall Barracks. You walk over this big swinging bridge, and then you do some more hiking. Like I said, I fell at every waterfall that I've been to. So on that hike too, I'm pretty sure you're falling, or the fall is likely to happen. I won't say that. I'm not going to put that on y'all. It's not likely to happen. But I fell because it's wet, it's slippery, the rocks are slippery, and like when you be too careful sometimes and you pay too much attention to it, then you wind up falling because your body is so focused on not falling. It's like that mind trick. It's like, oh, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. But all the universe, all the body is interpreting is fall. It's so beautiful, so amazing. And then when you're at Cornwall Barracks, you're looking at, oh my gosh, the Rio Grande River on the side of it. So there's the waterfall here, and then right across the rocks is Rio Grande. And some people will take you there if you go rafting. Well, when you raft, you're going to be on Rio Grande River, but the specific section that we were at is something that you would pass. So people might not even know that there's a waterfall right there as they're on the river, just drifting. So I found that to be a beautiful surprise. Other thing that I've experienced while I was in Portland was hiking the Blue Mountain, okay? I wound up getting a cheap ride there because I'm cute. And I was very appreciative of that because there was another experience where we didn't have to, oh no, we did go through the front gate and pay the fare, but I paid the Jamaican price and not the US or visitor price, which was very amazing because I was with a Jamaican driver. And it wasn't like a traditional taxi, even though he is a taxi driver. We went through there. I think it's called the John Crow Mountains, the Blue Mountains and John Crow Mountains. And also, if you ever see Blue Mountain Coffee, it's coming from Jamaica all the way up there. So it was like a 3-hour ride from Port Antonio. But it was so worth it. The views, oh my goodness. And then at the time, I was smoking. So I had me some ganja on the road. I was puffing, and it was just a 10 out of 10 experience. And the hike around actually wound up being short, but while I was there, it started to rain a little bit. So I put my stuff down just to like look over on this little ledge, this viewing spot. How about I saw a freaking double rainbow? I'm gonna actually have to post that video in here too, because that double rainbow was to live for. It was so to live for. I've never been so high up that I got to look down on the rainbow, and then it was two of them. Two!
Oh, look at.
I was so grateful, and I still am so grateful. Like, whenever I think about that experience, my heart starts beaming. My excitement just starts coming up, because I'm grateful that I got to witness that in this lifetime. Like, looking down at a rainbow that was double arching, and it was just so bright. It kept getting brighter the more I looked at it. It was such a treat. It was such a treat. So even on the ride back from the Blue Mountains, getting to experience the views again, it was just a double whammy, a double surprise, a double treat. Very, very grateful to experience it. Portland is the most beautiful parish. I know that I'm not from Jamaica. I pray that nobody gets offended by hearing me say that, but it's kind of well known that Portland is the most beautiful parish in Jamaica. So green, so rich, so pretty, pretty, pretty. Now, one thing that I didn't really appreciate while I was in Port Antonio, I guess this is going to be anywhere in the world where you are a foreigner and it's clear that you're a foreigner, but, you know, getting charged the American price or getting charged the foreigner price instead of getting charged the natural price. And it's like, I'm a human just like y'all are human. I don't know what makes you think that I'm more rich just because I'm from America. I'm rich in experience, rich in life, rich in this, rich in that. However, sometimes the material richness doesn't always come through. So I don't really appreciate having to spend more just because I'm from a different place. But that happened more in Port Antonio than it does here in Hanover. I guess it's because they see my face more in Hanover, and like they've gotten to see me for 6 months straight. So it's like, she good people, man. Like, we not even going to do that to her. Let me tell you, right? Apples are 100 Jamaican dollars each. When I was in Portland, this woman tried to charge me $900 for one apple. I was disgusted. I'll even learn how to do the Jamaican smack up where you get pissed off. Like, how dare you try to charge me that much for one apple? And if I was with a Jamaican or with somebody who was native to Port Antonio, a Jamaican, then it would never be that price. You would never open your mouth, fix your lips to say no $900 for one apple. But whatever, it's fine. I got to shake and move through it. And then I did a lot of my shopping with Sister Dawn because her shop was inside of the farmer's market, or like, you know, there's a market in Port Antonio in the center of the town where you have like bars and sellers like Sister Dawn, crafters, and you have the people who sell the fruit, the farmers, and even a restaurant all the way in the back that you can get breakfast from. So she worked in that spot, so if I ever needed anything, I would just let her know what I needed, and then she would find somebody to give it to me for a good price. So just very blessed and very grateful to have her, and just to have that whole experience, because even in Port Antonio, when I went back to Portland back in August, people were still recognizing my face, and then that connection was solidified. I didn't get charged double or triple or even more than anything again. People they started to recognize me. Oh, I was grateful. I was very grateful for that. That is my story about Portland and all the food and all the places that I've been to so far when it comes to that. Well, all the places that I've been to in Portland, and then the water-based places, because I've taken some other trips here. But I want to reserve a section of this video to talk about Obeah, which is the spirituality here that has gotten demonized, similar to how hoodoo or voodoo gets demonized, when really it is the people who were brought into these strange places from Africa, and they tried to continue their own spirituality or spiritual traditions. And, you know, the colonizers was like, oh, we're not having that. You're going to be Christian. You're going to be Catholic. You're going to be whatever we want you to be so that we can keep you in a system of control. So Obeah also got demonized. Obeah is seen as witchcraft, like many other African spiritual practices. It's ancient magic. It is the folk practice of Jamaican people. It got demonized by the British, so a lot of people here in Jamaica are Christians because of colonization. I don't want to say that. Some people may actually choose it, but honestly, the roots of it are because they were colonized, brought by people, you know, bought and owned, and then forced to believe in whatever their owners and colonizers believed in. When people are carrying ignorance of how African spirituality works, then those African spiritual practices get demonized, like I was talking about hoodoo, voodoo, even Santeria, Igbo, Yoruba, like all of these beautiful ancient practices get demonized when you bring them to America to people who don't understand it. Not America. Wherever they were settled through slavery, that's who demonized it. So Obeah, just like multiple other African spirituality practices, it consists of spells, herbal remedies, talismans, healing baths, and bombs. And then specifically in Obeah, they perform divination using a Bible and key. I haven't done too much research deeper into that, but I find it interesting. You know, some people use cards, some people use bones, some people use sand. It's like whatever it is that they use to divine and figure out things and receive answers and insight, they use that. With this one, because of the tools that they had and how Christian Jamaica is, you know what I'm saying, they use the Bible and a key for divination. If you know anything about that, please let me know. But the government even got so deep into it that they banned certain books about spirituality. I think it was from Lawrence and Co. Let me double check my notes. Yeah, by De Lawrence and Co. He was a writer on spiritual and occult matters, and he supplied spiritual and occult orders by mail order. So if you ever were caught with these books, even coming through customs, I don't even think you would be allowed in, or either they would just confiscate the books and then allow you in, but obviously you would be viewed as a very suspicious being, because what are you doing with all that? Another thing that is banned is things from the Red Star Publishing Company of Chicago in the United States. Things that relate to occultism, magic, divination. Like, they didn't want these practices here in Jamaica. They wanted people to be strictly Christian and to praise God and whatever, instead of doing what they can to protect and heal themselves. And I also feel like there is an underlying energy of like people who are connected to it, but they just don't want to mention it because of the taboo that it is to bring it up. Because even in Portland, I have visited this store that was called Lookout, and it was a lot of occult items in there. We had candles, incense, some of these oils, and like they'll make certain washes that say like W, you know, get rid of the W. W means ghost, or something to bring in money, or something to stop somebody from throwing you a red eye. Like, they had these things in there, but if you were to ask outside on the street about it, people will kind of look at you and give you a side eye. But they might be the same people who are using these same tools to protect themselves, to bring in abundance within their shops and their carts. And when I visited the shop, I was trying to ask questions just to see where the women inside were at, like see how much knowledge they had, see if they can give me any new knowledge. And the store seemed to be very mixed when it came to its practices and what it sold. And then it also was given, they didn't really know much. So it could have been, again, one of those protective factors where we don't want to let you know how much you know. You're going to come here to buy what you need because you already know what's up, and we're not going to give you some more. Or they genuinely was just there to sell stuff and they had no clue what it is that they were selling and interacting with. But I wound up getting a black cat candle that's my own personal business. And I found this quote from some article that said, Obeah represented a means of empowerment and spiritual sustenance for enslaved people, and it played a significant role in preserving their cultural identity and resilience in the face of adversity. So I would love to learn more about Obeah from somebody that is here, but it seems like it's a little difficult to find those people who actually want to openly talk about it, even if openly talking about it is just like one person on the street asking them a question. So I'm pretty sure that the more time that I spend here, or even the other shops that I go to, I haven't visited the Obeah shop in Montego Bay, but that is the closest like big city to me right now. I'm interested to go see what that's about, and maybe I'll learn some more there. But definitely the one in Portland, it wasn't a hit. Yeah, it wasn't a hit. If you know anybody that I can talk to, or if you have an experience with Obeah in your family, then maybe you can let me know some things or connect me to somebody to talk to. I would be very open, and I would love to hear about it. I also found that there was the 1898 Obeah Law of Jamaica. It was implemented through Tacky's Rebellion, which was the largest uprising of enslaved people in the 18th century. So I definitely want to tap more into that. This is just some soft notes that I took after looking up Obeah, but because I'm so interested in spirituality and mysticism and the occult and just like those under things, which has a lot to do with me having so many placements in my 12th house. If you're interested in Western astrology and, you know, learning more about yourself through that, then you can look at my Navigating 12th House video. And then also I do tarot readings according to what the astrological new moon or full moon is. So you can tap into yourself through that as well. Now, moving on from Obeah and that wonderful practice a little bit more into, let's talk about the phrases that I've learned here. It's only 3 phrases, honestly. That's everybody knows Wagwan, but my lover has taught me about why pre. Like, instead of saying Wagwan, you say why pre, like what's up. Then little more when you're saying goodbye to somebody. It's all right, little more. Then somebody had wrote only Batiman piss here. So I'm like, what is a Batiman? A Batiman means somebody who's gay. And apparently to Jamaicans, being a gay man is like the worst thing you can ever be. So it's like putting only Batiman piss here will really deter a lot of people from pissing here, because a lot of people don't want to be seen as gay, which is very interesting to me. I even saw this video of a guy interviewing 2 Jamaican lifeguards, and he's like, yo, if you pick up somebody who drowned, would you do mouth to mouth on them to like resuscitate them and bring them back? He was like, nah, the only thing I'm doing is CPR. So basically, if you're a man, don't drown in Jamaica. There's that. I'm pretty sure there's a lot more that I have learned and experienced and been through, but I woke up with it on my mind to just talk about these experiences. So prayerfully, I don't know, you've learned something and it's made you want to come to Jamaica, but I have really just fallen in love with it. I'll give you a little bit of the backstory of how I met my lover. I had booked, when I came to Jamaica, like I said, I landed at Norman Manley Airport, and I had an Airbnb reserved for 2 days, just 2 or 3 days, because I planned to catch the Knutsford Express to go to Portland the next day. But I wasn't really too interested in like getting off a plane and then going right to a bus stop. I wanted to settle myself in, maybe get some good food, introduce myself to the capital real quick, and then go to Portland. So that's what I did. Now, on the day before the last day here, I was having some trouble sleeping, and I was like doing so much research on where I can go to get some food because I was hungry. Just as much as I was tired, just as much as I wanted to go to sleep and get some rest, I really wanted to get some good, delicious vegan food. So I'm looking up some vegan restaurants that were in my vicinity that I can walk to as soon as I woke up. And I had found 2 or 3 of them. So I put 2 on my list of like, okay, I'm going to go. And I was deciding between those 2. But I went to sleep with one in my head. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go to this one. I think it was Batter and Berries or something. Am I confusing that with something in Chicago? Anyway, when I woke up, I changed it. I said, you know what? I'm not going to go to this one. I'm going to go to a vegan's Utopia. I'm going to go to Utopia. So I walked to Utopia. I had me a few things off the menu. I met this wonderful cashier. She was so sweet and nice, and it made me want to like buy some more things to experience. I wound up getting a juice, a wrap, something else to eat, and a freaking cake. So I'm like, yeah, this is everything. I'm eating, chumming down and everything, and then this guy walks in. He's like, hi. I said, hi. Like, how you doing? And he was there to pick up 2 burgers. So he wound up coming back to me, went back to his car or whatever, and then I'm scrolling, looking at more food, honestly, just trying to see some things on my Instagram, and he like, oh, what you looking at? And we start talking about food and everything, and then I was like in his style, he was like in my vibe, so we just exchanged numbers, and we started talking every day since then. I still had plans to go to Portland. I did go to Portland, but yeah, every single day we wound up chatting and talking and just learning more about each other, and from that, it's how things go. I feel like a lot of those beautiful love stories start from like you just meet somebody randomly, not even looking for nothing, and then y'all never spend a day apart or y'all never spend a day not speaking to each other. That's what I say. When I got back into my Airbnb and settled, I had a piece of my cake left, so I'm just eating my cake and enjoying my little self. Or maybe I finished my wrap. Doesn't matter. He had plans to go to the dentist, and he winds up calling me on FaceTime, calling me on WhatsApp video, and being at the dentist. I'm like, I just met you like 30 minutes ago. Why are you calling me? But of course I answered. So yeah, it's been beautiful. We've been talking ever since then, and now we live together. So it's very fast. But I've learned to just go with the flow and not trip myself out of great experiences because I think that it's supposed to go a certain way, or in my culture it's supposed to be this or da-da-da. I'm just enjoying it. I'm loving the ride, and it's really been beautiful. It's really been divine, and it's been challenging too, but what isn't? You know what I'm saying? What isn't challenging? I think that anything that's really worth it is not going to come so easy. There's going to be things that you have to work through and grow through that make it worth it to have the experience. If you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, you can comment them below, or even just share the experience. If you've been to any of these places that I mentioned, if you have experience with Obeah, like I was saying before, or just anything that you relate to when it comes to being in Jamaica or experiencing Jamaica, or if you are Jamaican and you want to comment on anything that I've said, please do. All right, I love you. Thank you so much for listening to me dabble and jabble along. Subscribe if you want to follow me more along this journey and see where I end up next. But I'm definitely coming back to Jamaica. This part of my life is not over.